Shalom family, shalom gods. I'm back again with another video. This one was not planned, but I'm up late, obviously, but I don't know why I was just thinking about sleep paralysis. If you guys remember, we talked about the show The Original Angel now and how they were angels, but how the guy ended up finding them. He actually hunted for them, and I think we talked a little bit about it being a time of the hunt. So, which is why they did the movie The Hunt. Jada Kiss put out this song Hunting Season. I talked about it on my Facebook. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video. But how he hunted for these angels, or these people who was angels who didn't know that they were angels. He basically, by their near-death experiences, was how he was finding them. People who had died and come back. And they were angels. Okay, so for some reason, I just was sitting here thinking about the times that I had sleep paralysis, and I was like, I wonder if that has something to do with a near-death experience. Now, the reason why I was thinking is, and it's 212, but back in 2012, I had got really sick. I mean, I lost a bunch of weight. I was throwing up for weeks on edge, like I couldn't hold nothing down. I couldn't stop throwing up. All of these things. And like it would be times that I would be like, my chest would, like, I couldn't breathe, like my chest would hurt so bad. Like I remember one time me and my husband, we were playing the Wii, and this was way back in 2012, 2013. And we was having fun. All of a sudden I was crawling on the floor. Okay, my chest just like it hurted so bad. And so I had got really sick. Now, I did come across some information about shamans. Now, I didn't pull that up because I'm just now thinking about it. So let me see if I can pull something up on it. I was reading something to where it said that shamans, either like the chosen shamans, and I don't know how I got to that. But yeah, shamanic initiation, that it was like basically what it said. I wish I can find it now. But that chosen shamans would go through something like a near-death experience or something like close to death. And I'm telling y'all, that's almost how it was. It was like death, okay? And I went through that for a few years. I've been better now. I haven't really been having like the episodes that I used to have. But and I don't want to jinx myself. But the reason why I say that, because I was talking to my uncle about it one time on the phone, and he said maybe you had a near-death experience. And I had never thought about that before, but I was reading about the shaman. Somehow I had got to that, and I was reading about it, and it talked about how like the chosen shamans, like the ones that were like the higher up ones, would, you know what I'm saying, go through something like a near-death experience. It's basically like to bring about like the power that you can have. I don't know if that makes sense to y'all, but it's like to push you to the point of like push you over the edge, if you know what I mean, to bring that power out of you. If they show you in like all of like the superhero movies and stuff, like how something bad will happen to make them realize their power or something like that. Okay, now I've mentioned this show, The Old Guard, and I'm actually going to probably start watching that tomorrow. But they had initiated a black girl, and she got killed, and she didn't know that they was going to come right back to life or whatever. So they died, and then like they was like zombies, like living zombies. You know what I mean? But they wasn't zombies. But what I mean by that is like they couldn't die. Like they was killing them So it was like they was calling themselves an army, and it was only like 5 of them. So I watched the preview, and on the preview, she was like, "We gonna go to war. It's only 5 of us." You know what I'm saying? When they initiating her, and they go in against this whole army, and they shoot them up and kill them, and next thing you know, they just get back up. So I'm really intrigued to watch that, and see what that's about. But so my uncle mentioned that to me, that maybe it was a near-death experience that I was going through. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I never thought about it that way. I definitely felt like I was dying. I remember one time I was praying, and I was in so much pain. I was just praying, and I was saying, God, please send an angel to heal me. And I remember seeing the angel that night, okay? And the next day I felt better. I was just like, thank you, God, because like the pain was unbearable. Like I would always go to the hospital to like have them put me to sleep, because like that's how bad it was. It was like unlivable. I don't know how I made it through sometimes by the grace of God. But like I would just beg them to like put me to sleep, and they thought that I was like a drug addict or something. So of course they wanted to give me a drug test first. Because they think I'm coming to the doctor to get high, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, they couldn't find anything wrong with me. So they sent a psychiatrist in to talk with me. And, she basically was trying to tell me that it was all in my mind. Now, I'm like, lady, listen, this is not all in my mind. At this point, I'm upset because I done been to the hospital 1,000 times. Like, I had $10,000 in doctor bills. You understand? Luckily, that's all been wiped away. But, and by this point, they basically like, listen, lady, we can't find nothing wrong with you. And they just sent the psych lady in, she basically trying to tell me that it's all in my mind. I didn't even realize this. It said Timothy Green. Green is my marriage name. But, so she basically trying to tell me it's all in my mind. I'm telling her, like, listen, lady, this was the time that I was playing the Wii. I'm like, listen, she's like, it's stress, it's this and that. And I'm like, I wasn't stressed when this just came on this episode. Like, I was literally having fun with my husband, playing the Wii in the living room. And then next thing you know, I was crawling on the floor, grabbing my chest and dying, okay? So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, so, I'm not stressed. Like, I was having a good time. So it can't be that. Anyway, I changed my diet a lot. We stopped eating meat for a little while in 2017. Of course, my husband, he thought he was dying. So we did go back to eating certain meats like beef and chicken, which is pretty much all we eat is beef and chicken. And so he thought he was getting too skinny. He was dying, okay? So it wasn't until recently when I started to become more adept in, the occult knowledge and everything, that I started to understand a little bit about what was happening to me back then. Plus, it was 2012, okay, when a lot of stuff started jumping off. So it's like an initiation. Now, let's see what we can see here. They don't really got a lot. The field of near-death experiences. Near-death study shares a number of interesting, often compelling similarities with the ancient spiritual tradition known as shamanism. Not least among these similarities is the fact that a near-death experience, the NDE, is a time-honored form of shamanic initiation. I present a case example illustrating how a deep NDE can propel a person who had no prior knowledge or interest in shamanism into spontaneous, often classic, shamanic experiences while living an apparently normal life in the midst of modern Western society. Okay, now I wish it's 2/20. That's my birthday. So I wish I could find what that what I was reading prior, like a few months ago. Um, I wish I could find it. But today I was sitting here and I was thinking about the sleep paralysis that I was having. And I said, I wonder, was those times, and I know I'm traveling at those times. Now I can kind of tell when I'm traveling than when I'm just dreaming, because when I'm travel, it's like when you're going to sleep, you can feel that you're leaving out of your body. It's like a vibration or frequency that comes around you. So like now I can tell. So like I told you guys about the dream, and I thought about this too, the dream that I had where the time went back. And I told you guys in the last dream that I felt like I was doing stuff over and over, which is not the first time that I've said that with the deja vu, but the deja vu that I just recently had was just like so vivid. It was just like right in it was just like, what, wait. So, I don't know what all of that means. I know I did a video on astral time travel and how we can time travel. Is it possible that we jump in dimensions and we don't even realize it? And sometimes we end up in the past or the future or the past, and we don't even realize it until we start reliving stuff we know we already did. Like, wait a minute, okay, hold up, wait, because how we talked about when we awake, or when we become woke, awake to righteousness and sin not, that we are able to retain our memories, right? So this is why I wanted to talk about the show, The Original Angel. Now, in one of the episodes, like they were, going through the NDEs and telling each other what the NDEs were, because they had pieces to the puzzle of how they can open these portals. These angels could open these portals to jump dimensions. Okay, so the one guy, they jumped dimensions, and the one guy lost his memories. Okay, because he did a sin. Okay, he did a sin before they jumped dimensions. He did something bad, and I guess it's kind of like you retain your own memories. I don't know if his memories was taken from him or if he repressed them himself because he didn't want to remember the bad thing that he did. But right before they went to dimensions, he did a bad thing. I can't remember exactly what it was. He set up another woman. He helped the man catch another angel, basically. Okay, he helped him hunt another angel. That's what he did. And when they jumped, he was the only one who did not get to keep his memories. He didn't keep his memories. Like I said, I don't know if that was on his own accord or if that's what happens. Like I have been talking about how when you die, you basically just jump dimensions and then you don't keep your memories because of sin. So he was the only one who didn't keep his memories, right? So I be talking so much, I be losing my track of thought. Sorry, y'all. My train of thought. So where was I going with this? Okay. Anyway, he lost his memories, and the NDE was kind of like a dream, but it's not like a dream because it's like an out of body experience. Like I said, I can now tell the difference because it'll happen like as I'm dozing off to sleep. Like I'll feel the tingling and the vibration. And when it first started happening, it scared me. Like I can recall the first time where I really noticed it. My husband was actually sitting on the edge of the bed, and I think he was watching like a game or something. And it was getting dark, and I was in the bed, and I'm laying down, I'm dozing off into a sleep, and all of a sudden my body is doing this like this intense vibration thing. Now, at the same time, the orbs and stuff had been showing up at my house, and like I can hear them when they was getting close to the house. It was like a woo 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 like sound in my ear, and this vibration that was like pulling me out of my body. And I would sit up. So I would sit up, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? This feel real weird. It was scaring me. So I laid back down, started to doze off, and that when I would start to doze off, it started again. So I sat back up, and I told my husband, something is going on. I feel like something is trying to pull me, and I was scared to go to sleep that night. Okay. Fast forward. I told you guys about the time that I seen the woman in my kitchen and she said, here I am. That is very significant, okay? Now, I had sleep paralysis when that happened. And I really feel like sleep paralysis is because when you're in the spiritual plane, we move like off emotion. And when you get scared, like you can't move, or you get a paralysis, like scared to death, like scared frozen or whatever. And I really think that that's what the sleep paralysis comes from. Like what triggers it, you know what I'm saying? Because I was walking around and everything in that travel, but the minute I heard that voice say, here I am, I got scared because I'm thinking I'm in my house with myself, and I immediately got sleep paralysis. So do y'all understand what I'm saying? Sleep paralysis is definitely tried to astral travel, but now I'm going to share this with y'all that is tied to near-death experiences. And this is how the guy in the original angel was finding these angels to experiment on. And what he was actually looking for was they wanted to have proof of the afterlife. And he was basically trying to figure out how you get there. You know what I mean? And so he was experimenting on these angels, which I don't think he knew that they was angels at the time, only that they was people that died and came back. So what he was doing was killing them, recording their near-death experiences, and then bringing them back to life, which is really crazy. But so let's just read this. Near-death experience may stem from the brain blending waking and dreaming states, studies suggest. About 10% of people report having mystical near-death experience, such as an out-of-body sensation, according to a new study involving participants from nearly 36 countries. What's more, although the exact cause of these experiences remains a mystery, the author says the phenomena may be tied to certain sleep abnormalities. Okay, what's going on? Let's refresh. Okay, something going on now. They don't want you to get these information. Let's see. Okay. The study findings suggest there may be a connection between near-death experiences and disorders of REM sleep, a phase of the sleep cycle in which dreaming is vivid and people are typically paralyzed, which is sleep paralysis. The researchers found that near-death experiences were more likely to occur in people who also reported symptoms of REM sleep disorders, such as sleep paralysis, when people feel conscious but can't move, or hallucinations just before falling asleep. One hypothesis is that the brains of the people who have these experiences may blend two types of consciousness, waking and dreaming states, according to a researcher not involved in the new study. Still, the new study only showed an association and cannot prove that such disorders, which the researchers refer to as REM sleep intrusion into wakefulness, can cause near-death experiences. But identifying the psychological mechanisms behind REM sleep intrusion into wakefulness might advance our understanding of near-death experiences. Okay. The study was presented on Saturday, June 29th, at the European Academy of Neurology Congress in Oslo, Norway. It has also been posted to preprint website BioRxiv. It has not been published in a peer-reviewed journal. Mystical experiences, okay. Reports of near-death experiences go back centuries, but exactly how common such experiences are in the general population was unclear. In the new study, the researchers analyzed information from 1,034 people in 35 countries who were recruited using an online crowdsourcing platform called Prolific Academic, which pays people to participate in research. Participants were asked if they had ever had a near-death experience, and those who said yes were given a survey with 16 questions designed to identify and characterize their near-death experiences. Overall, 289 people reported a near-death experience, and of those, 106 were considered to have a true near-death experience based on their responses to the survey. The most commonly reported symptoms during a near-death experience were abnormal time perception, exceptional speed of thought, exceptionally vivid senses, and feeling separated from their body. Okay, now I want to talk about the abnormal time perception, like how I was telling you about the deja vu. Like, what is going on? Like, did I astral travel to the past? Okay. Also, the exceptional speed of thought. It's like my brain, and this is like kind of like a quantum computing. It's like my brain is getting stuff so fast. Like sometimes I stumble over my words or I say stuff backwards. It's because my brain, so much is going on that it's coming before I can even get it out my mouth. Do you understand? So now I'm tripping over my words because my mouth is trying to catch up with my brain. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, okay, brain, slow down because my mouth don't go that fast. Okay, and feeling separated from their body. Okay. And this is the tingling sensation that I said it comes on you. I can't even explain it. It's like a vibration. I wouldn't say tingling, more like a vibration, like a shaking kind of. About half of those who reported a true near-death experience said that the experience occurred during a life-threatening situation, such as a car crash near drowning, but the other half said the experience occurred during a non-life-threatening situation, such as childbirth or experience of intense grief or an anxiety. One woman reported that during childbirth, I felt like I just died and I went to heaven. I heard voices and I was sure I would not come back to my life. It was weird. I cannot control my body. Another participant who reported near drowning said, I felt like my soul was being pulled out of my body. I was floating and was lifted in the air. Okay, y'all see how they keep doing this. They don't want us to get this information, y'all. What's going on with this? See if we can refresh it. Plus, I wasn't trying to make this a long video because I am tired. Okay. In addition, 47% of people who reported a true near-death experience also reported symptoms of REM sleep intrusion, such as sleep paralysis or hallucinations just before falling asleep or just after waking up, compared with just 14% of people without near-death experiences. The authors say that given the link between near-death experiences and REM sleep intrusions, some near-death experiences could reflect a sudden onset of REM sleep-like features in the brain. In other words, people with near-death experiences may have a different kind of brain switch that blends waking and REM consciousness. A professor or neurology of the university who wasn't involved with the new study, but who has also investigated the link between near-death experiences and REM sleep intrusion. Such blending may be the brain's reacting during a crisis or near-death, Nelson said. Now, we talked about crisis judgment. However, exactly what causes near-death experiences is unknown and controversial. Some studies suggest they may be triggered by a spike in electrical activity in the dying brain. Other studies suggest that oxygen deprivation may play a role. And some researchers say there may be more going on than science can currently explain. For example, a study published in 2014 in the Journal of Resuscitation found that 2% of people who had experienced a cardiac arrest could recall things going on around them at the time that their heart had stopped, when they shouldn't have had any measurable brain function, and these accounts were verified by medical staff. Dr. Sam Parnia, Director of Critical Care and Resuscitation Research at NYU, and lead author of 2014 study, was skeptical of new study results. Parnia noted that the original definition of near-death experience relates to experiences in people who are critically ill, which was not the case for many of the study participants. People can have experiences that have similar features to NDEs, such as any type of mystical experience, but those are not NDEs, she told Live Science. Moreover, Parnia emphasized that the link found in the current study doesn't prove cause and effect. For example, both REM sleep disorders and near-death experience may be more common in people with underlying medical conditions such as heart disease. But the study authors did not take underlying conditions into account in their analysis, he said. Okay, finally, the results don't explain why some people are able to recall near-death experiences from a time when their brain is shut down, such as during a cardiac arrest. These refer to consciousness even when the brain doesn't work, which is a paradox, Parnia said. We've been talking about the paradox. Still, even if near-death experience do have a biological explanation, it does not undermine their spiritual impact, Nelson said. Clinicians must welcome near-death accounts with non-judgmental reassurance, providing safe harbor for patients with experiences that often bring overwhelming passions and memories. Okay. So I believe they're the same thing, or very close. Maybe not that you died, but you were so close to actually being dead that you was able to cross over. Or now, what brought this all about is because I've been doing a lot of research on the two witnesses, and they die, and I'm just like, I can't understand why they die. You know what I'm saying? If they good and they come to fight on, God's behalf, and I'm like, okay, why do they die? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I just don't understand. So I feel like I'm kind of being led to this as an answer that they don't actually die. Okay. Now, if you've ever read the Quran, there's a verse where they say that Jesus didn't die. It just was appeared to be made that way. And I'm wondering if it's some type of situation like that. I also heard that it's another book, which I haven't read yet, that talks about that Jesus survived the crucifixion and went on and had his wife and children. I haven't read it. I can't tell you if that's for a fact. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you that it's something that we missing, okay? It's something that we missing. Because I don't understand why that they would die. And, you know, so I think that maybe it's not like we think. Okay, I mean, they died, but maybe they jumped dimensions before. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. But that's what brought all of this about. The two witnesses and them dying and me trying to figure out what's taking place there. So I don't want to make this a long video. As I get more information, I'll let you guys know. But I love you, family. Shalom. Till we meet again.